We are the Nerd Eternal Network.
Hello, welcome to the Nerd Eternal Network presents Icons, the Primes. This is Season 4, or it's not Season 3, Episode 4. Get it right. I'll be your Game Master for the day, Jason, and with me today will be Mike as Transmuter.
Hello.
Zach as Helios.
Hey.
Taylor as Puppet.
Howdy, howdy.
And Curtis as Sethuagua.
Agua. Hola.
Sethagua. I'm trying to break it up into an extra syllable, I think, is my problem.
We should probably just write it out phonetically for you.
I think if I just hold my hand up where I can't see it, I think I would pronounce it better without trying to match the pronunciation to the letters, which is most Cthulhu-esque names. All right. So last session you investigated technically a bank robbery, though your real interest was that this thief had been attacked by these superpowered paramilitary types that you had run into before. You have an encounter with an armor-suited bank robber, who I think you eventually, well, you didn't really figure it out. She left her number on Helios's phone, or community, listing her name as TeknoAXE. But you ran into the paramilitary types again. You managed to capture them. There was some questioning at your base before eventually handing them over to Spear. Since y'all are not in the business of, like, keeping prisoners or manning a prison.
We could torture them, though.
We could, but we probably shouldn't.
Are you role-playing the Last Arcs character, Curtis?
What?
Are you role-playing Bloodthorn?
No. She just slipped into my,
Oops.
Well, Seth is a little rougher edge than some of y'all.
That's true.
Curtis is just into playing the bad boys and girls.
Oh, wait, my favorite character is a really good boy. He's just,
Mm-hmm. So much like the best boy.
yeah, that's...
But you figured out that they're tied into a group. Maybe it's some sort of black ops government thing, or maybe it's just a group of, like, former government agents. But they've pulled in a lot of resources and personnel from various defunct super soldier programs. Some of the programs just being defunct, some of them just so flat out illegal that, when they became public knowledge, they had to be shut down. But their powers seem to be based off a hero named the Myrmidon, who went missing, guess maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Which I'll say, incredible turnaround to do it in that short time period.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Myrmidon was the result of a program. He was just the only successful result. So they would have still had the old program's research, and then the successful person, the successful test subject to examine. So
They weren't working from scratch.
no.
That's fair.
And it would also be safe to assume that they are somehow genetically grafting superpowers to adult humans to make mutates rather than constructing embryos to grow naturally.
Yes,
Not that detail is super important to us, but there it is.
Well, the previous session when you rescued those people from the lab, that's kind of what they were doing.
Right.
Some of those people were powered people that they were examining aggressively, but then some of them were normal people that they were trying to, as you say, graft the powers into. And some of them were superpowered people they were just modifying. So but so that's where y'all were last time. This week we open up. You're already the team is already assembled in the sedan, and you are already streaking across the Atlantic.
To where?
You are on your way to Barcelona.
Ooh.
It was, let's see, late enough that most of you were in bed when you got the call from, what is it Seth calls her? Aunt Grandma?
Grandma Niece.
Grandma Niece, that was it. Grandma Niece. Sharon, I believe, was her actual name. Basically telling you, get dressed, I'm on the way to pick you up. That was all the details she gave you initially. And she zips by with the sand and basically just beams you out of your houses. It's a, very short range teleport, but she can't fly over an apartment building and grab you. And she does so, making the flight path look like it's just a straight line across town that just happens to cross over your building and pick you up. As you hit the East Coast, I forget where you all live. I know Transmuter's fairly far east. Because aren't they in the D.C. area?
That's right.
Now, whether or not Seth was camping out at your house that weekend or not, I don't know. Or whether he had moved on to another sibling by this point.
He is absolutely welcome to crash at Helios's apartment whenever. So long as he picks up his shit.
And folds up the fold-out couch, when he's done.
Which, of course, he does not do.
Oh, no. And, of course, Puppet is basically at the base at all times. Though he is now upgraded to wearing clothing.
Spend time with his other siblings.
So, as she picks up the last of you, she refuses to answer much in the way of questions before all of you picked up. She doesn't want to repeat herself. Once she picks up Transmuter, she's headed across the ocean. She tells you there has been an incident, kind of an extended incident going on in Europe. Though to be fair, she says it basically started in technically it started in Asia. A mountaintop in Turkey basically exploded.
Oh shoot. That's right.
I just had that name pulled up too. Though with my pronunciation skills, I'm probably not going to pronounce it right. Anyway.
It's not Ararat. We had enough apocalyptic adventures.
I came this close to making it Ararat, but
Yeah.
but I thought, no, that might be a bit much. I've put it in the Roll20 chat. I'm not sure how to pronounce the C with a little squiggly under it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I hate those characters. Just because I don't know how to pronounce them.
Oh, yes, I mean, it's...
They're actually cool, but I'm not sophisticated enough to cope with them.
I'm going to pronounce it Kekar, and I am sure I'm saying that C wrong because there's a squiggle mark. It's one of the, I think it's like the second tallest, maybe the second tallest mountain in Anatolia.
It's pronounced Kaskar.
Oh.
Why not
So
just,
C's
why not just use an S then?
Because it's also commonly used for like the combination of CH and TS.
Okay, that makes some sense. Kaskar then. Okay, at least that's easy to pronounce. For my poor Bama tongue.
Kaskar.
So yes, big explosion on the top of Mount Kaskar. And it's not like the entire peak of the mountain blew off or nothing like that. I mean, but it left a sizable hole in the side of the mountain. Not too.
This was spreading, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, spreading, not necessarily the right word, but it's a continuing event. Pulling up Google Maps so I can remember which cities it is. So there was miscellaneous reports of like the sudden windstorm whipping up across Turkey. But it seems to be a very narrow band, and it's traveling westward, which is unusual, and at extreme speed. Not too long after the explosion, something passed over Istanbul. Lots of wind damage, again, in a narrow band, a few hundred meters wide. Almost like a tornado touching down, but again, going the wrong direction.
So a few meters wide.
A few hundred meters wide.
Oh, a few hundred meters.
It clipped a little section of the Sea of Marmara, which is the body of water, south of Istanbul. That kind of separates Europe from Asia. But and when it passed back over land, the land was hit with a tidal wave behind it.
Oh no.
The water got quite tall. Again, it wasn't super wide. Not like a regular tidal wave would be. Not that they have those in the Sea of Marmara. But and then it cut a swath basically across Greece. The top portion of Greece. Once it hit the sea again, another tidal wave as it hit the edge of Italy as it flew across. It missed Naples. It was a little south of Naples. And just based on its, a little north of Naples. So decently south of Rome. Cut between two islands. And the next place it's going to make landfall will be Barcelona.
I have a weird question.
Assuming the course doesn't change. Yes.
The course has been steady, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about the speed? Has it stopped? Has it slowed down and sped up? Or has it just been consistent?
It was going a little slower when it was in Turkey. It has sped up since then, but it's not just constantly increasing.
How long has it taken it to travel all that distance?
Hour and a half.
That's pretty darn fast.
Yes.
Can the sedan keep up?
In a straight out race, probably not. Let me check my benchmarks to make sure I got that time even close to right.
It's
Yeah,
Rodan. Rodan has blown out of the mountain,
boy.
hasn't it?
It's a crossover.
Well, I've never gotten a cease and desist, so I'm going to poke Toho and see what they do.
I was curious about what the benchmark for speed was.
It's definitely going faster than the speed of sound.
Sure.
So yeah. So Turkey, government in Turkey alerted people almost as soon as it happened. And then, of course, alarms went up in Greece. They've gotten some radar imagery of it, though it seems to be... It's not exactly stealth, but it seems to kind of diffuse radar that hits it. Or something. They're not getting back good images of it. You know,
Interesting.
it's quite large, and either it's moving or it's changing shape, or whatever it's doing to the radar is unsteady because it doesn't always appear to be the same shape as it's moving. But she essentially leaving the U.S. She basically goes just kind of suborbital and then drops back down.
Do we even have any kind of international clearance to act? I mean, apart from just, we're superheroes, what are we going to do?
Does Transmuter ask that?
Yes.
Sharon tells you we have all the same clearances over here that we have in the U.S.
And what clearance is that?
Up it then picks up. That is it's a very subversive answer.
She looks over at Helos and Puppet. She just smiles really big. Puts a finger to her lips, hoping Transmuter doesn't notice.
I toast her with my little thermos of coffee.
Seth will proudly pat the Primus symbol on his uniform. His little Primus badge. Or Prime badge is what they're probably calling it now.
Oops. I just noticed, I was looking at the Google Maps while I described the flight path. I just noticed the window I pulled it up in down there where we look at our rolls. Yeah, we was showing like the corner of the map. Because, that's how professional I am. Alright, but that should be all we need for that map. Anyway, you should be reaching Barcelona before them. She tells you not to worry. The sedan stealth is better than whatever this vehicle is that's coming this way.
Oh, wait, stealth.
So let me bring up a map for y'all to see on the Roll20. And Roll20 is going to be aggravating. Alright, let me jump y'all over there.
There it is.
And we will bring up the map.
Zoom in.
Alright, so there is the coastline of Spain. This is, of course, on the east side of Spain. So that body of water is the Mediterranean.
Sagrada Cathedral.
And so yeah, y'all pass over the that big natural park over Barcelona proper. She tells you should have 10-15 minutes before whatever it is gets here. So you've got 10 or 15 minutes to figure out what you're going to do about something that's generating damaging winds, and will probably arrive with a small tidal wave.
Well, speaking of which, Transmuter would like to start working on basically a wave breaker. If I could generate that out of the ocean water to try to. Actually, no, it'd have to be I guess I'd have to do a combination of the ocean water and the air above or the oxygen above because it needs to break sea surface. I guess it'll probably take a while because it's.
All right, and what is transmitter's power level?
9.
9.
So I could do. So with one action, with one page, I can generate something that's building size. So this is definitely going to be, a race to be able to block off as much of Barcelona as possible with that, even with that capability. Assuming I don't just get exhausted or whatever. Not that I have that drawback, but that's up to your discretion, of course.
Now keep in mind, when you give yourself advantage for tapping on whatever they call it this, when tapping a hero point, you can boost your effort, or your effect, I should say.
Sure, I could bring it up to 10.
So we're just gonna make a replica of Mount Everest right about here.
I mean, that would bring my capacity up to mountain size with a single page action. If I were to push that. Which,
not that this will help in prep in any way at all, but Seth will go ahead and he'll grow Reg to combat size.
All right, Reginald pops out of your cloak. Well, if it wasn't already popped out.
Puppet will look towards Seth. How many of those can you make that can fly?
Scratches his head. Depends on how much time I've got. If I'm high.
Fair enough. Because potentially we could make one of yours fairly large and flying. I could force field it, and it could just cut bits and pieces of the tidal wave out through sheer force. Because other than that, I don't have a lot to give in this fight.
Do you have to put your force shield around people, or can you put it around objects?
I have the extra effects others on it,
Okay.
so that I can put it on other things. But
I'm kind of curious because off the top of my head, I don't remember if I know he can do more than one if he's got the time, but
like you make one big bird, I put a force field on it, and it just slaps into parts of the tidal wave.
let me look it up.
Because it's probably about 8 in the morning when you're arriving local time. Because
How's
let's
the
see.
boat traffic on the shore? Would there have been a alert put out? I would hope that if the local authorities were able to sense, or I mean, it's clear that Barcelona is where this phenomenon was heading. So I would hope that they would have gotten advance word and could have started.
As you fly over, and she heads directly for the shore, so there does seem to be some extra police activity. Most of the docks and stuff you see are empty.
That's good. That's a relief.
And she tunes into some local emergency frequencies, and of course it's all in Spanish. But she seems, Sharon seems to understand what they're saying. She does, yeah. The government of Spain has been kind of alerted that there's this weird activity going on. They've sent all the local fishermen, and basically all the boats are clearing out, heading either north or south to try to get out of the way. They have set up. I'm not sure there's any sort of parks or beachfront or anything like that might be tourists or locals might be going might go to. They've got those shut down.
I suppose Helios will just head out into the city proper and just try and help clear any traffic blocks or traffic jams.
Okay.
Just help speed up evacuation.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the entire city is evacuating, but everything on the kind of the eastern side, everybody's moving further inland, basically. The roads out of town are a lot do seem to be a lot busier. Well, you don't know what normal traffic is. They do seem to be pretty heavily trafficked.
Okay, to answer the question, on the servant, the shadow servant, there is a pool of points I have that I can stat a servant with. To do multiple servants, I have to take a point from that pool and create 2 lesser servants, or 3 even weaker servants, and so on. So
one big Reginald that could fly would be more useful than a bunch of tinies, I guess.
Yeah, he doesn't literally have the ability to fly, though.
Oh.
Now, if you build him with a pool of points, could you put some of those points in flight?
That is a good question, because I can do stats, but I don't think I can give them powers.
You might want to check that. I thought you could. I thought you could with a certain power. I thought.
Let's see.
I would definitely say you give them a couple of ranks of flight just by giving them wings and making them kind of aerodynamic or whatever.
Oh, you can. Yeah, according to great power, you can. At least.
Yeah, and that's what I was using. I just missed that detail.
Yeah, offensive, defensive, movement powers are common for servants.
It seems like you can't give them. You can't.
Right.
Although
Movement
they can't have
are
powers.
common, and flight would definitely be a movement power. So I can.
Yeah.
I can chip a stat off by a point.
You know,
and give
it just
it
has to make
one
sense.
level
You
flight.
know, you couldn't make. I'm gonna make my shadow creature, and I'm gonna give him a light blast. Well, no.
Oh yeah, it has to be.
It's gotta fit. Gotta
That
fit the
would be silly.
motif. Gotta fit the motif. But yes, making him fly or giving him growth so he's physically bigger looking. That is definitely doable.
It looks like you can't make consension because it explicitly states prowess, coordination, and strength, and no other attributes.
Yes, original appears sentient, but it's all just Sith's subconscious.
We're about to see a Regzilla, I think.
Which makes, and he is uncontrollable, which means he is subconscious, so he could take off on his own and do something Seth didn't intend.
That Seth didn't consciously intend.
Right.
Right.
All right, let me throw you guys out here.
But secretly, he thought it was really funny.
Clear your mind. I'm just thinking of the Stay Puft Marshmallow thing. Just clear your minds. Think no dangerous thoughts at all.
All right, we'll drop y'all on the map. Y'all are not to scale, of course.
Arrgh.
Exactly.
Not unless y'all whip out some powers that I really was not expecting. Let's see, where would Sharon put the sedan? She's actually going to go up suborbital with it. Up high enough that it wouldn't be able to whip up strong winds up there.
Hmm.
And then if y'all need her, she can just kind of dive bomb back down to pick you up. Alright, so transmitters on the shore. Sounds like Seth would probably be on the shore creating his big original.
Yes.
Puppet was going to be with Seth, I think, because he was going to...
Yeah, I'm gonna force field Reginald so that he can run into a tidal wave.
And then Helios is hopping around deeper in the city, helping keep traffic flowing. If there's accidents, he's moving vehicles out of the way, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
To give Reginald growth 1 point of growth and 1 point of flight, I am going to drop his coordination down to 1. So he's got good prowess, good strength, but he's
Clumsy.
slow and clunky, just because Seth's trying to control something big and awkward now. We'll say.
All right. Let's see. What is 1 point? 1 point of growth is not that big, though, is it?
I can drop his strength down, but then I have to recalculate his.
1 only takes you up to 9 feet. I feel like if you wanted to get anything approaching like Godzilla size, the 9 would get you 60 feet, and 10 gets you 120 feet.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Growth is very... The actual height they give you are very kind of toned down.
I can drop a couple of points off strength, too. I just thought that might be useful.
Well, keep in mind, growth gives you your normal strength plus 1,
That's right.
and you gain
Actually,
damage
growth,
damage resistance equal to your growth.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
think does strength actually equal growth too?
No, it's normal strength plus 1.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking, too, though. It's one reason I was checking.
Yeah, it's the greater of your growth level or your normal strength plus 1. So. Yeah.
Is that a greater power? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go with that one then.
But still, if you want super strength, you've got to invest in growth fairly substantially.
So, say
But
I
that
knock. Say he gets 2 points of growth. How tall does that make him? Is that big enough for what we want to do, or do I need more? I can do more. It'll take away from his stamina.
Yeah, 2 will only be 12 feet. So how big do you want Reg to get?
Yeah, how big do you think we need, guys?
If you want,
Traditional tidal wave size is gonna need to be pretty big to be able to like carve into a tidal wave and make a difference.
yeah, I guess it depends on how big the tidal wave is.
The idea behind it is using his own mass to displace parts of the water in the tidal wave to make it sections collapse in on itself to slow it down. Since water isn't like a cohesive thing, if you punch a hole in it, it begins creating like pushes against it because it begins falling down and cutting out its speed.
You're kind of creating extra drag.
Yeah, but eventually if you can do that enough in a spot, it kind of like begins to bend it.
Kind of folds in on itself.
The water wants to go the path of least resistance. If something's pulling a section out, it wants to fold back into that section.
Mm-hmm.
So a tsunami is at minimum 10 feet high, but never more than 100 feet high. And Jason said this was a small tidal wave. So
yeah, it's getting up, maybe 25 feet tall.
So pretty substantial tidal wave.
But it's like the windstorms were only kind of hitting on the worst of it was hitting on like a couple of 100 yards wide. Or meters wide since we're in Europe. So that's kind of where the height is, and then it quickly drops off to the sides. Like whatever force is pushing the water up is only, yay wide, and then it's kind of spilling over the sides. So it's not something that's going to like hit the entire length of the city.
Okay. I'm envisioning things like when Namor invaded New York City in the 40s, where it's just like completely massive.
But it's going to do a lot of damage where, that slice that it hits is going to do a lot of damage.
Right. Yeah, as we know from real life, it doesn't take much to do a lot of damage.
Mm.
So what if how about how big do we think we need?
Maybe 30 feet.
Which is going to be what power level? For growth.
30 feet. 30 feet is 8. And then it gets growth 8 is 30 feet, growth 9 is 60 feet, and then growth 10 is 120 feet. So it just keeps doubling. It's very incremental for the first like 7 steps, for the first 8 steps, and then it doubles. It's like the first 8 levels you gained like 3 feet in height, so it's pretty slow.
It's really designed for doing guys like Giant Man or Goliath, as opposed to actually building kaijus. But it'll be enough that original can assist transmuters construction.
If you punch an 8-foot hole with Reginald, he can go again, as long as he doesn't wipe him out, and just continuing to punch 8-foot holes in it.
Well, keep in mind the wave's gonna be moving forward, so it's gonna roll over him. He'll get one good shot, and then he'll be kind of behind it.
Right.
Oh, he's not going to be able to fly fast enough to keep up. Okay.
Oh wait, I forgot about you giving it flight. Yeah, he might be able to.
Multiple instances of Reginald.
Yeah.
Well,
the point pool gets smaller as he does that.
So, make him big enough so like he can affect it, and then fly across it, cutting into it. Kind of like maximize as much of the hit as you can.
Yeah, like if you almost do it like a bull rush against the entire length of the wave. It actually looked kind of badass. It could almost look like Reg was surfing the wave as you were.
Definitely surfing, but like making sure you can cut through a good chunk of it.
And then whatever momentum you don't diffuse, then transmuter could hopefully guard against the rest.
Okay, well, we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, I like that.
All right, and transmuter. You're basically building wave breakers. You said.
Yeah, and if I can create a mountain-sized mass with one boosted action, I would like I could shape it just so it's just tall enough to hold back a 10-foot wave along hopefully along an expanse of the shoreline, and I guess it'd be up to you as to whether that would be enough effort to block off whatever
Okay. All right. So what are you tapping into to boost yourself as you really push?
This sounds like if I were causing trouble, I would use this only that's effortless. But I think for the purposes of actually pulling this off, Raised to be a Champion sounds like a good quality to tap.
Okay.
And so, I don't want to sabotage our plan here, but my understanding of what we're doing here is we are going to save a populated part of Barcelona from the initial impact of tidal wave, but that would not protect it from flooding from the tidal wave.
It would help some because the water would hit, if you got the wave right there, the water will hit, and a lot of it will recede because when the wave goes out. There's going to be some flooding regardless of what you do.
Yeah, we're not going to.
But the wave itself could potentially knock buildings over.
Wait, transmuter, you can.
I could actually transform. Yeah, I think I
transmute the section of ocean into a vapor.
I could. You're right.
That way, the tidal wave hits sooner. The flooding will not come up as far. You essentially make a hole for the water to go into.
I just activated my AI thing. Echo, quiet, please. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, by the way, Jason, never send a supervillain named Echo against us, please. Or Alexa, perhaps. Or anyway, I'm sorry. Yes, I should have thought that before. Why don't I just cut straight to the chase and just transmute as much of the wave as possible? take that hydrogen and turn it to.
Well, like if you can do a mountain-sized amount, then yeah, we could just remove enough ocean that the ocean that comes in fills in the hole.
Which makes a much smaller tidal wave.
That because the wave breaker you're setting up, that thing, you set that up in advance and it will sit there. When the wave's actually arriving, you'll still have an action you can take.
That's true too. That could just be the backup, right?
Yeah.
Although I don't know if that's where I want to spend my determination. Well, I mean, I could always just, if we time it right, I could just always take the trouble of, like, if Jason approves, just do the I lose a page afterwards from exhaustion trouble. If you think that would be sufficient, to be able to increase my transmutation by 1 point again when it's time to actually transmute the wave itself.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay. Let's do that then. And maybe then I tag like this only looks effortless if I'm going to be conked out afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're taking trouble, then I could tag this only looks effortless.
Sure. I'll just keep tagging Raise to be a champion then until you tell me otherwise.
But all right, so you set up your wave breaker. Were you going to go ahead and push to do this one? Or are you just going to set it up building, with building size segments?
Well, if we have enough time, do I feel like I could build it one building size piece at a time and have it be big and be able to cover enough space before the wave gets here?
You've got about 15 minutes.
I feel like building size, we're talking about like a whole shore. So even I feel like I might need to push it just to play it safe, which means I will spend the determination point to be able to create this and still have enough time in case anything else comes up before we actually confront the tidal wave itself. And then I can always invoke trouble to pull off a similar stunt upon the tidal wave itself. Because I feel like that would definitely be something that would require like mountain-sized power.
All right, you do that. You got the big original. The local police department has noticed you. They don't really seem to know how to react to you. They don't get anywhere near Puppet or Seth.
I don't see why not.
Puppet doesn't look living, and Seth is like creating something out of darkness. Transmuter, however, is in a typical superhero costume.
I'm very camera friendly.
So you do have a couple of officers approach you. The first one that walks up is speaking Spanish. I don't know if Transmuter speaks Spanish or not.
I would, unless that's something that I have to designate point-wise, I would just assume she is, because, it'll make sense that it seems like it'll be part of like superhero training to be able to like cover like all the major global languages. Well, maybe not all the major.
Yeah, all 7,132 of them.
Exactly. But Spanish seems like it doesn't seem like as much respect.
The Oxford Commando
as
being
an American hero,
European.
Spanish would be kind of like the secondary.
So yeah, if you learn Spanish in America, it's going to sound a little different for somebody in Spain, because there's dialect differences, but nothing where you have any trouble, basic communicating. So yeah, the officer approaches you, asks you what you're doing. You're an American superhero, right? He asked that because he's clearly seen you on the news or something.
Yes, transmuter of the primes. It's a pleasure. I'll nod since I'll see why I'm just like in action pose, whatever action pose I use to exert my powers, and I will greet the officer and explain that we're here to help diffuse the impending tidal wave effect.
See.
No doubt you've received report of that by now.
They heard there was something making a wave, and whatever that thing was, it was coming, and so was the wave.
Is there anything else we can do to assist?
Well, he's heard reports of another member of your team. They're pretty sure helping clear traffic.
That would be Helios, yes.
But do you have any idea what's going on more than We were told something was generating windstorms and waves and headed this way, but that's really all they've told us.
Unfortunately, that's all we know too. We're, after we blunt the tidal wave effect, we'll be certain to look into what is actually causing it.
Good.
Plus, my two compatriots, Puppet. I have two more compatriots, Puppet and Satagua. However you translate. You probably don't translate that. You probably say it straight up.
Puppet you might translate,
also, but oh sure, they're also on hand to make scout out what the phenomenon actually is.
He kind of looks over at them on the other side of the beach, or a little down from you on the beach. Very very creative look for heroes.
I admit it took some getting used to, but hearts to gold, those two.
Meanwhile, Helios, do you speak Spanish?
I'm gonna say I'm conversational, but I'm not fluent.
Okay. So you can land and ask, do you need help?
Yeah.
And the police are a little hesitant at first, but they do have you clearing traffic jams. Fender benders are getting vehicles out of the way. So that main road, I guess that's 820. There's a big clog on it that you help clear out. And of course, lots of people have their cell phones out. There was already press there, and there's so you're being filmed. There are some press at the waterfront filming. Though transmitter's busy, but Puppet, you might notice that the news crew is packing up like they're getting ready to go. It's like they've got everything packed up except the man doing the talking and then the camera person. And they've definitely got their camera angle where they're catching all of what y'all are doing. They're sit there kind of mouth agape as this mountain-sized construct starts appearing, to their eyes, just out of thin air, though really it is the air.
We're going to be international heroes, guys.
It solidifies in the air and then kind of splashes down into the water.
Making its own tidal wave.
It makes a decent sized wave. It splashes some people, but it's not. You're not causing any flooding with that. But you're prepped. Your 15 minutes is about up. The police have pulled back. Transmitter, before they go, they ask you, if you need a ride or if you're going to stay here or.
I'll stay on grounds. I can make my own. I can make my own shelter. Thank you. I think. Yeah. Don't you worry. Don't worry about me. You've got plenty. You got plenty to take care of as it is.
Well, they wish you good luck. Thank you for your help. And then they pull on back. Before you see the wave, you see a black speck up in the sky. It starts getting bigger very quickly as it moves closer. You're not hearing anything yet.
I'll point that out in case anyone hasn't spotted that. Do we all? I think we all spot that at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
I will go ahead and activate Super Senses 2 to look at it with better eyes.
Your first impression is that it's a giant bird.
It is a giant bird.
Told you, Rodan.
Then you notice that it has 4 sets of feet. Not 4 sets of feet, 2 sets of feet. My bad. 4 feet. The structure of the thing.
It is not the ancient Chinese 3-legged crow.
Imagine a griffin. You know, it's the body plan of a griffin, but all the lion bits are still bird. But it's got like front bird legs and back bird legs, but then also wings.
Is it fiery like a phoenix or not?
It is not. Some of the feather, there's a mix of like dark feathers and like bright red. No actual flames though. The head, try to picture a bird with a receding hairline. I know that sounds weird, but it's like up close to the beak. It's almost like a vulture, you know, where it's all skin. But you get about halfway back on the head, and then it starts in with red feathers.
Like perhaps like a vulture with plumage. With head
Kind of, like I said, it starts on the head itself, not just like the neck behind it. But
I think I've seen some dinosaur speculative images kind of like that.
you know, probably so.
You know, now that makes him sound smart, maybe.
Well, some of the artwork I looked at for the creature that I'm basing this off, I'm pretty sure some of the artwork reminded me of some dinosaur artwork, so that's very possible. The neck is thick, and even under the feathers, you can kind of tell there's like these kind of wrinkles or fat rolls or something.
A bird with fat rolls, interesting.
Just on its neck, which gives it a very thick neck, appearance.
Oh, maybe it's its gullet.
The beak is closed, though you can see the little points of teeth sticking out from the beak.
Toothed beaks are never good.
They still happen occasionally.
They do.
Genetic defects. Hen's teeth are actually a thing. Because all the genes bird needs for teeth are still there. They're just usually inactive. And with your enhanced senses, you can already see the wave that is built up, kind of trailing behind it. It's like the wave is almost like it's flying low enough. I mean, it looks pretty high up, but it's like it's causing a huge wake behind it in the ocean. Alright, so it's approaching. It's approaching with the tidal wave. It is beelining for Barcelona. Let's see here. Dangers and disasters.
Helios, do you want to maybe start getting to the shore?
Yeah. I'm taking a light jog towards the shore.
He's like, no, I'm good where I'm at. I'm helping people.
Okay.
That looks like a mean turkey, y'all.
Yes, it's starting to get closer. The rest of you are starting to pick out the details that Puppet was telling you about. And like I said, at the speed it's getting bigger, you can tell it's moving very fast. All right.
So it looks like a giant turkey, and it originated in Turkey, as far as we can tell.
It's a turkey.
I had not made that connection. All right. So, first step, we're going to cover the stopping of the tidal wave. So those of you involved in that, it's going to be a pyramid test.
All right.
The work that you did on the wave breaker initially is basically going to be a free extra roll that you get to make on this pyramid test. To see how well you lined it up with where it needed to be, how well you constructed it.
Mm.
All right, now I know we got pyramid tests marked. All right. All right, this is going to be escalating, meaning the more rolls we have to make, the higher the number you have to reach is going to be getting. I'm running out of table space to put open books. All right. The difficulty for this one is starting at 8. Mike, go ahead and make your first roll for the Earthbreaker, or for the Wavebreaker.
Do I make that roll at a 10 or a 9, or what do I make that roll at?
Yeah, go ahead and make. Well, let's see. For that one, would we use just your power for that one, or would we use for the? Yeah, go ahead and roll with the boosted boosted power level, because it is mostly the sheer size that you're going for.
D6 plus 10.
Okay. All right, so that is one massive success. So that alone will stop it from doing any actual any damage as far as like knocking buildings down, the actual brute force of the wave hitting.
Right.
Now let's see how well y'all do in preventing flooding.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so first round. Curtis, you were going to have Reginald basically plow into the kind of low into the wave to try to make that outer edge cave into itself.
Yeah, I believe that was the plan.
All right. So give me a roll with whatever stat or power you think is appropriate.
So I'm guessing we're gonna do Reg's prowess to.
Okay, that's fine, because that would be him aiming kind of how he hits it, or Seth aiming him how he hits it.
Not great.
All right, that's a 7.
You gotta get some bonus because of the sheer size of the freaking.
Puppet was reinforcing him.
Yes.
So that would give him a +2.
Force field.
Yeah, if you were, because you're assisting Reginald essentially. So that puts it up to a 9.
What about? Do we get a bonus for the size of the tidal wave we're trying to hit?
No, because it's not hit anywhere on the tidal wave. You're trying to hit the best
Okay,
spot to get the effect you're looking for.
Gotcha.
But that is one success.
Good try though, right, Curtis?
Absolutely.
what is it? Minor, major, massive. Yeah, so that's a minor success. Helios, you are just arriving lakeside, seaside, and y'all had your comm zone. You've heard what they've been planning. Is there anything you plan to do?
I'm not really sure there is anything I can do. I suppose maybe dig some channels near the shore, just at super speed, just try and tear up some earth to make little inland wave breaks.
Okay. Do you have super speed?
Yes, I do. Rank 5.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
So,
So
yeah,
you run
basically
by. We'll say you were passing a construction site and you saw like one of the, not like a full-size bulldozer blade, but where somebody had one of those like bobcat size one, and they had the little plow detached from it. So you grab that and run by at super speed, just, cutting trenches, piling the dirt up to make wave breaks somewhere else. So yeah, go ahead and give me a roll.
And would this be coordination or strength? Probably coordination.
Either one would make sense, so whichever one you think works best. Truthfully, you could do your super speed for that matter. But... Alright, that's an 8, so that's a success. That's 2 minor successes, which makes a major. Now, the transmuter, the wave break was something you said in advance. So, like I said, that was a free roll. So, what are you doing this round? I know there'd been some talk of you transmitting as much of the water as you could.
That's right. Well, yeah. Basically, since I don't have, since this isn't at range effect, I would have to start with like the air that's in front of, or I guess the ocean that's in front of me. Just kind of like, keep transforming, through the connecting mass up to the tidal wave. Now, to be able to bring my effect back up to 10 again, at this point, this is the point where I would like to invoke some trouble.
Okay.
Pay for it.
And we were. Go ahead.
I have proposed the possibility of just being, no pun intended, but winded for a page. But you can make up that as you will.
Yeah, that works fine. Basically give you trouble based on, or I was thinking about that one aspect you had.
This only looks effortless.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, basically maxing your power outs twice so close together.
Mm-hmm.
Does leave you a little wobbly on your feet and kind of catching your breath.
They may actually just collapse into the hopefully shallow portion of the beach. But yeah, if I could, so would that be another roll plus 10 then?
Yes.
I generated a little 11.
All right, you rolled as low as you possibly could on that.
Exactly.
But an 11 is a major success because the target number is 8. Combine that with the major success your teammates have gotten, and that gets y'all up to the massive that you needed.
Sweet.
So yeah, so the water runs up, it hits the wave breaker you built. Reginald, reinforced with Puppet's force shield, goes slamming into the base of like some of the wave that man just kind of whip around the edges of the wave breaker. He smashes into that, which causes it to start collapsing in on itself. So you still have a lot of water kind of rush up on shore, but it's not the big towering wave. as some of the water kind of runs over the top, does manage to run over the top of the wave break, and like around the other side the original wasn't on. Transmuter steps forward, and what are you converting the water into?
Probably my go-to helium.
That's like, make it helium so the bird squawks funny.
Oh, yeah, our new friend, right?
Might actually be best to convert it into water vapor just so it will eventually rain back down.
Even better. Yeah, we gotta easily environmental impact as much as possible. Thank you.
So it just starts turning to mist and moving upwards.
Oh god, now it's going to be horrifyingly humid.
Ruining hairstyles for miles and miles to come.
The people of Barcelona rally together to drive you out.
Exactly. Pass an anti-transmuter. I'm banished from the city.
I did make one mistake earlier. I said the tidal wave was like a wake behind it. The tidal wave is in front. Like it's sort of pushing it along. So you have blunted the tidal wave. Like I said, a lot of water still winds up running up on shore, and maybe the closest buildings to the shore are going to have to squeegee out their lobbies or something. But that's about the worst it is. I mean, this wave just ran up and y'all just sort of smacked it down. Then the huge bird thing zips past you, almost directly over you.
Something we forgot to look at, and it's too late now, is where this creature or thing might be going. I mean, we knew it was Barcelona was in its path, but
We're just got to, yeah, we wait just under following it until it gets to where it's intended to
Yep,
go.
it's been an almost straight line. Not quite pure west. There's a very, very slight southern tilt to it.
Like
But
it's
more or
getting
less a
ready
straight
to
line.
descend? Okay. Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, as far as like north or south on a map.
Oh, I see.
The line, it's a straight line, but it's not like just straight west. It's slightly tilted. But it has not been deviating from its path particularly. As it whips past you, winds hit you all. This is where I need the icon assembler. So that's its coordination. And it's got its power specialty.
I'm guessing I'm pretty much defenseless, at least for this page.
Well, you lose your action, you can still make your reaction rolls.
Oh, okay.
You're not unconscious or stunned. You're just too tired to do anything. Advanced dice roller. All right. So a d6 plus. All right. So all of you need to make me a coordination roll. Basically, like you're avoiding an attack. As this huge gouts of wind slam into you as this thing flies past you.
I'm just going to make a simple dodge roll instead of. I won't use my power defense because I may be able to make a reaction that may not necessarily make the optimal reaction. So
That's
dodge
fair.
is
That's
the
fair.
reaction defense. There we go. I'll have the dodge roll.
All right. And a 10 was what you needed to beat?
No.
So that is major successes on 2 of you. A massive success on Puppet. And a marginal success on Transmutor. Basically y'all tied, so.
Yeah, it's still.
So Transmuter, you take 3 points of damage.
Okay.
Everybody else that took damage takes 6.
Ouch.
That it does indeed hurt.
Shrugging that off.
Yeah.
I have a question, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
When I am creating a servant, I am using the point pool.
Mm-hmm.
That point pool applies to strength, coordination, and prowess.
Okay.
The intellect, awareness, and willpower doesn't apply because I'm controlling it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Nothing can come up in mind control, Reginald.
Right. But when I am calculating Reginald's stamina, am I using a stamina or a willpower of 0, or am I using Seth's willpower?
For constructs like robots, they count the strength twice.
Okay.
So let's just go. If we find a specific rule that says otherwise, we'll do that. But let's just assume that it's like a robot or anything else that doesn't have those stats. You just double the strength for its stamina.
All right.
And don't forget, the growth gives whatever growth you gave him. That's damage resistance, and then Taylor put the force shield, or Puppet put the force shield on him. All right. So Puppet also needs to give me a strength roll versus the damage plus a d6. All right, Puppet does not get slammed by the wind. He does not get thrown anywhere by the wind. And then I need to double check. I think a major triggers that as well.
I did not roll for.
Yeah, major or massive will cause that. So
I'm going to roll for Seth the dodge also. Or not for Seth, but
for original,
for Reg.
that makes sense.
And his coordination is low, so it won't be good.
Nope, that's a massive success. So he takes the 6 minus whatever levels of growth he currently has and the force shield.
Gotcha.
And then make a strength roll for him too, to see if he gets slammed. What was that last roll I made? 7 for the slam. All right, so he does not get slammed. It doesn't send him flying. Who else did he get majors on?
I believe he got a major on.
Yes, on Helios and Seth. So both of them need to give me strength rolls.
Not a problem.
Still just have to be a 7, because I'm just like the area effect, I'm just letting that one roll be what everybody in the area resists. So yeah, both of you. Yeah, you brace as the wind hits you, but you're fine. Might take a little damage from debris being thrown around and bouncing off of you. But
He messed up our hair.
that he definitely did.
I thought I missed it here.
And the bird had zipped past you. And of course, windows shatter. Once it's past you, there's also like a sonic boom. It does not count as like a separate attack or anything, but it does shatter the glass in a lot of windows. Luckily, in anticipation of this thing showing up, the streets are already basically empty. So that shower of glass doesn't really do any damage or do any harm to anyone. The city's sanitation department is going to have its work cut out for it. As your ears stop ringing from the sonic boom, you can hear Sharon's voice, over the comms, asking if everybody's all right. And then you kind of hear wait a second. Get ready, guys. It's circling around.
Why is it circling around?
Sharon goes, I don't know. This is the first deviation in its course we've seen yet.
Oh, good. It wants to play.
Are you able to pull up any references to a large avian creature in Turkish mythology or regional folklore or any previous appearances by a similar creature?
Well, that critter they're calling Leviathan attacked Florida a year or two back. And that one they called Behemoth came up out of that desert in Saudi Arabia. What was that, last year?
Oh. Oh.
Hey.
Did they call them apocalypse beasts before?
I believe that's what the press wound it up calling them. It's like, hang on a second, that sounds familiar. You hear it like typing. I don't know if that went over the mic or not, but she's like, "Oh, lovely."
What's lovely? Is it a herbivore? It's a herbivore, isn't it?
Because birds are herbivores.
She's like, "Yeah, it turns out those things are a set of 3."
And this would be the air one.
Yep.
Right.
According in Old Hebrew, it was named Ziz.
How do you spell that?
Z-I-Z.
BAD.
So, a new set of 3 kaijus?
Well, no.
Ziz
Ziz goes in with Behemoth and Leviathan. And in some of the folklore, she's like, it's not biblical, but in some of the folklore, they're all going to have a big fight at the battlefield of Megiddo. And she's like, and according to the spear reports, that's where Behemoth was headed as soon as it came up out of the sand. And the spear team stopped it, and they've got it trapped on a island off the coast of Dubai, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Or was it Kuwait? I forget exactly where they stuck it. Where Spear is Leviathan was going after it seemed to be attracted by an artifact, and Spear has literally put that artifact on a flyer and is just zipping it back and forth across the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, so they're still doing that? Oh man.
That's the only thing they've got to.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, they've got it. So they've got it where it's avoiding shipping lanes.
I call not it if that's what we have to do with Ziz.
Are these creatures killable? Puppet says out loud, looking at it.
None of them are dead yet. And
I've got a bad solution.
And she's like, and almost all the cultures in that in that area of the world have their versions of these things.
So, is this creature, if we look at the path this creature's taking, does it look like it's headed towards that battlefield?
No.
Where the other one was headed, so we don't know exactly what's driving it.
Right now,
no. Megiddo is basically between like modern day Israel and Egypt. I forget whose land it's actually on. But it's kind of down there in that bottom section.
Maybe Jordan? It's in Israel. It's Israel.
It is in Israel proper, okay. I wasn't sure exactly where the borders were through there.
Mm-hmm.
Or exactly where the battlefield is for that matter. But no, to get there, it would have had to have flown southeast. Mostly south.
So we don't know what it's after.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, basically.
Well, if it's circling this area, there's probably another artifact. Bad solution, we throw me in its mouth. My affliction will eventually drain it unconscious. And I don't die. So we could just stick me in it until we find a better solution.
It's actually,
We'll call that Plan Q. Like, we're not doing that.
Yeah, Sharon's not real fond of that plan. What if it digests faster than you regenerate?
Questionable?
I mean, it's a fair point. Desperate times.
I mean,
Well, you know.
presumably I could find a place to hold on where I don't get hit by too much acid. I've got a force field. But anyway, yes, that is the bad solution. Let's work on a good solution.
As it wheels around, yeah, and you can see, stuff, billboards getting knocked down by the wind, windows shattering. There's garbage and laundry just flying up into the air as it snaps itself around at like high speed. But as it comes back, it is much slowed down. It is no longer generating a sonic boom. Its neck extends out. All those what look like fat rolls on its neck. You realize it basically had its neck scrunched up, and it's now extending its neck. So it has it has a weirdly long neck now. The mouth opens, and it's very loud, but it is a very bird-like sound that comes out. Sounds very much like a bird of prey. As it flies down, it basically straddles a road. It's kind of perched, holding on to two different buildings, kind of standing across a road. Straddling one street and looking kind of across the road at the kind of beachfront or seafront that y'all are all in. You couldn't swear to it, but it seems to be staring at y'all pretty intently.
Helios is going to, in the most non-threatening way possible, approach it and just ask, "Do you understand us?" Bob your head up and down twice if you can. With all due respect, your imminent Ziz.
Your Zizman.
Business.
It looks at you. Its head cocks to one side slightly. And then that neck extends and it snaps down at you.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
So let's see.
But that is not a no. That is just, you look delicious.
Alright, so that's his prowess plus his weapon beak specialty. So you need to beat an 8 on a coordination. Or, excuse me, a prowess.
Right. And I would like to use my strength to block it, just grabbing either side of its beak whenever it tries to snap down on it.
Okay.
That is a 13.
That is a massive success. Does block give you anything special on a massive?
I don't think so. Let me crack open the book.
Wait, don't you? Oh, I don't know if it gets a strike back on block. If it's a massive success. I think that's only you.
Yeah, I know, like the dodging or evading gives you that.
Yeah.
We haven't done enough blocking for me to have that down.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that's the thing. In fact,
I mean, Helios has done it a time or two. It's definitely one in his repertoire.
No, it doesn't let me take any special action. Just
Okay.
basically lets me use it as a typical defense.
Okay. So yeah, the beak snaps down at you. You basically slap your hands on kind of either side of the beak. Though at the scale of this thing, it's about like putting your hands on the front of saying you put your hands on either side of a car. And the rest of you see, as Zach basically slaps his hands on the beak to stop it from snapping on him. The force of it, he slides back on the ground, leaving a little groove where his feet have dug in. Yeah, the bird looks really surprised now.
It's not strictly a no, but it is a very rude creature.
It kind of hops down off those buildings, landing on all four of his legs, and it has pulled its head back, so its neck is in almost like an S shape with the head kind of pulled back. And it's walking forward towards the rest of you, bringing its main body much closer. Zach currently, or Helios currently has its full attention.
I assume we're just fighting it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me an initiative roll then. Which is, of course, coordination. Alright, so Helios got a 5. Ziz got an 8. Transmuter got an 11. Let's see. Was that 4 Puppet's initiative?
Yes.
Okay, Puppet got
Unfortunately.
4. Oh, Curtis stepped away. Okay. Yeah. Y'all keep dropping messages in the Zoom chat. I've never looked at the Zoom chat, so I'm always caught by surprise. Alright, so we'll let him roll when he gets back. But right now, it's looking like Transmuter will go first.
Okay.
Followed by Ziz on an 8. Helios on a 5. Puppet on a 4.
Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, no problem. Give me an initiative roll for Seth. Alright, so that's a 4. So you and Puppet are going last. What is your coordination? 3?
Yes.
And Puppet's coordination is 1. Alright, so Seth will go before Puppet. Alright, so Transmuter is up first.
All right. I would like to. What buildings? How many buildings are around Ziz right now? You said Ziz was straddling a road of some kind.
Right, it's one of the streets, and he came down basically with his right legs on one building, his left legs on another building.
Oh, so he's actually standing on top of buildings.
Well, after the first attack on Helios, he hopped down and was walking towards you.
Okay.
So right now he's kind of where a road tees into another road, and then y'all are on like the beach area on the other side of that.
Okay, so it sounds like there's not a whole lot of buildings around Ziz.
Not right where he's standing. There's some just right across the road behind him.
Okay, that's good. I would like to, and I may need to take an extra page to do this because I'd like to basically simulate the binding power and create chains to keep it from moving about.
Okay, that is
kind of like have them kind of pin its wings to its side and try to keep it rooted to the ground that way.
okay. That is you'd be power stunning the binding power.
Yes, and again, I'm out of determination, so I think I'll need to do the trouble.
I have a suggestion for some trouble if you'd like some trouble.
What would you like to suggest?
I suggest that we put temporarily a limit on your power.
Sure.
Specifically, burnout.
Yeah. I've definitely been pushing the roof onto its capabilities. So I think that sounds very reasonable.
Let's see. Let me read you what burnout does. After you use your power, roll a dice. On a roll of a 1 or 2, the power stops working for the rest of the chapter. So it's not going to automatically do anything to you. It just brings up that roll. And of course, if you roll burnout, then your transmutation stops working for the chapter.
Sure.
And then, once the chapter's over, it comes back and the limitation goes away because this was just temporary.
Yeah. And then I could exercise my ability with the kind of, I guess, finesse that's necessary to simulate the binding power. I like that. And I don't have to take an extra page to do it.
And you get the angst next chapter of your powers burning out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when you're a
But
one-trick pony.
I do still have to make that coordination test.
Yes, yeah. You've still got to succeed in hitting him with it before he manages to jerk away.
Yeah. So, shall I try that out now?
Yes, you go first. So it is your go.
I'm going to call this the targeted transmutations.
Okay.
And that'll be based off my coordination. Oh boy, not such a great roll.
Not super great now. And Ziz got an 11.
Yeah, he evades it with ease.
So yeah, whatever sort of bindings you were creating, Ziz sort of kind of a half flap of the wings and a leap, and he kind of jumps away from it as whatever structure you were creating kind of comes into form and then collapses down because it's not attached to Ziz.
Is that a one-time thing, by the way, or do I have? I don't have that power for the rest. Do I have that power for the rest of the scene, or is that a one-time usage?
Let's double check.
I always forget.
What page is power stunting on? Hopefully under using powers.
Sure, makes sense. Or it might be under the determination rules.
Yeah, that's also a possibility. Yeah, we better look under determination.
Stunts. See stunts. Following for details. Here we go. Power stunts. Temporary access.
Alright, it requires advantage, which just means tapping something and spending a point. Though the glossary does not tell you how it mechanically works. Have you found it? I have not found the...
Honestly, my gut tells me that's only a one-time thing.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess it depends on the condition, on the situation. But to me, this sounds like a one-time condition.
Okay.
But I'll keep. When do I roll for burnout? Is it the end of my turn or the beginning of my next turn?
I think it's immediately after you use the power.
All right, I will do that now.
So it's a 1d6, and you don't want a 1 or a 2.
I'm still good for now.
Your power is fine. All right, and then next up is Ziz. Ziz looks at Transmuter.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the moment you started trying to do your thing, Ziz's head snapped around to you.
Oh.
And it did the weird little hop. And now that S-shaped neck where it's, had kind of pulled his head up, yeah, it snaps back at you, or snaps down at you.
Okay.
Are you gonna block?
I'm just gonna do a simple dodge. 'Cause I feel I was reading over those block rules, and I wonder if that might be. I might work. I wonder if my power defense will be better tied into that, because it seems to be more one way. And usually I just use my powers to kind of like create something in the way. But since I've already used my transmutation this round, I'm just going to use a simple dodge.
All right.
And I think like maybe like before the next session, I might make a proposal for how power defense would work with that. But for now, I'll just be dodging, and once again, not a great dodge.
Well, power defense. You could easily say that I'm blocking using power defense, or evading and dodging might be a little different depending on what the power is. But...
Yeah, but then if I block, then that's basically my action for the page.
Oh, that's right. I had forgotten about that part of block. You're right.
So I think power defense I might just use. If someone attacks me before I've taken my action, I could have the option of power block it, like basically power block it as my defense. But then I don't get an action. And if I take an action, then I just do my normal defense. That might be the. I feel like that's the way that makes the most sense.
Okay.
And even I've rolled a 6 for dodge now. I'm not sure.
All right, it is a prowess roll. Did I roll? Did I roll at you? Did I roll? Yeah. I rolled
don't think you have yet.
No, that's the 11 was for. This is prowess of.
Dodge.
Ooh, that's not a good roll.
Okay.
So you need a 7.
Still got me though.
Oh.
I got a 6.
Yeah, we both rolled 1s. Okay.
Yeah. So I got hit. What's the what does the bite of Ziz do?
All right.
It's small. It's gotta be pretty bad.
Oh yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Okay.
Is anybody who has not taken an action this round got anything they would like to do? I want to say you can interpose.
Would I still be able to interpose, given my not quirk?
You're what now?
I can have Reg interpose.
Yeah, you could. Does Seth make Reginald interpose?
I shall.
All right.
Is he still shielded by Puppet?
Puppet has not said anything about dropping it.
Okay.
Yeah, since the focus is still on him and I haven't been doing it to anyone else, yeah, it stays. Because if I was doing something else, then it would last however long its power lasts. But since I've done nothing else, I'm still on the shield.
Yeah, you haven't shifted your concentration. Why is it so hard, even after all this time, for me to find stuff when I am looking for it in this book? Zach, does anybody have the interpose rolls actually?
I will not be able to do it.
All right. Yeah. And we keep saying dodging, but with hand-to-hand attacks, it is evading.
Yes.
Using prowess.
You wanted the interpose rules or the?
I have found them. I finally got to them.
Oh, you found it, okay.
All right, you can choose to go up your next panel in order to jump in front of another character within range. Even when it is not your panel, when you become a target of an attack, you defend against its reaction. But the attacker has a +2 effort on the attack test against you. Okay, so yes, Reginald can dive in front of him, and that is what Reginald gets to do this turn. So when it gets to your turn, Reginald can't do anything
I
else.
don't get an attack. That is my action.
And the attack has a +2, so the 7 he rolled becomes an 8. But Reginald can then roll his defense like normal against an 8. So Reginald makes a prowess, trying to beat an 8.
Does not.
He does not, but you know the attack hits him.
Right. The digital dice do not like me today.
They've been doing a lot of here. Have a couple of 6s in a row. Here, have a couple of 1s in a row.
I've rolled 2 ones in a row. More or less.
All right. So his strength is a fantastic 9.
Oof.
Yeah, he a big boy.
Well, he has a, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that fanged beak snaps down on Reg, doing 9 points of damage. How much damage resistance does Reg have at the moment?
He's got 5 if we're counting the shield, if I'm understanding right.
Mm-hmm.
What's your growth at?
I calculated it at 3.
No,
Yeah, 3, and then the shield. So yeah. Okay, so that knocks out over half of it. So he winds up taking 4 points.
Okay. He's still up.
Ziz kind of raises up with him, but then he kind of just shakes his head, drops Reg back out.
Good boy, Reg. Save sis.
I'm just picturing I'm picturing Reg hitting the ground and then just kind of thumbing up before he picks himself back up. But yeah, Ziz kind of shakes its kind of its head is staked back up and it just kind of shakes its head. It did not like the taste of original apparently. But you also notice that Reginald's got two or three holes just punched through him from the Ziz's fangs.
Right.
And they're not sealing up, and there's like little smoke, kind of shadowy, almost smoke coming out of them. It doesn't seem to be causing Reg any discomfort or anything, but. Let's see. So that was transmuters and Ziz's turn. Helios, you're up. Oh right, but you.
Yeah, I gave up my.
You blocked. Seth.
I don't want to be bird food.
Does giving Reginald orders count as your action?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so that was your action. Interposing was your action then. Puppet.
I'll go ahead and get my aura running, which will put now the time limit on the shield for Reggie, and I'll start walking towards the bird.
Does the shield degrade, or does it just last for that many rounds and it's gone?
It lasts for about 5 rounds, and then it goes away.
Okay. And you have turned on your affliction. Does that take an action?
My aura.
Oh, your aura, excuse me.
That way, if it hits me, it also takes damage from the aura.
Okay. Does turning on the aura take your action, or is that like a reaction and you can still do something?
I believe it takes my action.
Okay. In that case, we are back to the top of the round with Transmuter. That aura does not specifically, that description did not specifically say it took any actions. Check break power. But transmuter, go ahead. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got back. I just stepped away. So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're back at me again?
Yes, we're back to the top of the order.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Finding the book this time. No, I doubt that I'll be able to generate enough knockout gas. Well, how big is this? I mean, this is definitely bigger than Skyscraper, right?
No, he's not actually. His wingspan's pretty big. All the Apocalypse beasts have been big. They haven't really been Godzilla size per se. Godzilla is skyscraper tall. The Apocalypse beasts have been, 5 or 6 stories tall, maybe.
Okay, so I could conceivably try the knockout gas thing again, and hopefully I don't knock myself out this time. So this will be another part. Now, that burnout effect, was that just a one-time thing, or does that last for the rest of the scene?
That's a good question.
Because I don't know if I could just keep doing the burnout tests to compensate for additional.
I would say probably just the one time, because you're really just getting the one effect for it.
That's okay. So if I were to try to do a stunning attack, that would evoke another burnout test. Does that sound fair?
That sounds fair. We'll still let that count as trouble.
Okay. Now, of course, I'm still having to do a coordination attack if I'm generating knockout gas to put down a giant Ziz.
Well, you got to make sure you get that big block of gas around his head.
And not around my head.
Not around your head. Not
Watch the way the wind's blowing. So yeah, let's try this out. So I roll a coordination test.
You're doing stun.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be coordination then.
Let's see what happens. That's a better roll. Roll a 10.
And his coordination is still a 6.
Oh, look at you! Another tie.
So that is a marginal success.
Means there's no effect except for a burnout test.
Yes, you still take your burnout test.
Curses. Oh, and that did it.
Yep, your transmutation power turns off.
Oh no.
Transmuter is transmuted.
I start cursing like a sailor.
Like a British sailor, probably.
Oh wait. Oh, that's the Australian.
Ziz doesn't know what a wanker is, but he's pretty sure doesn't like being called one.
Oh, so it thinks. That's intel. Not that we really know that.
No. But,
Oh,
now I'm trying to remember, is there a visual effect? There's a visual effect with your eyes glowing when you do your powers, isn't there?
I think I said that. I'm not. Yeah. I guess I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's if I have an aura disappear or whatever.
But
I'm not sure I'm wedded to that effect visualization, but whatever happens.
I'm just saying the eye thing because I think you had mentioned that before, and
I did. Yeah.
Some of the rest of you see her eyes light up when she uses power, and then they kind of flicker and go out, and then she starts swearing.
Yeah.
Maybe the first time you've heard her do much swearing.
That's right.
Well, that's not good.
No.
And Ziz takes like half a step back and like whipped his head around to, he caught the slightest whiff of something he didn't like.
That is curious.
Okay. Ziz stands up on his hind legs. Front ones are kind of pulled up to his chest. His wings spread out, and they whip back really fast for something this big. And then they all whip forward. Everybody gives me a strength test. If you have a movement power, you may substitute that. This is not an attack like a blast. This is basically you have to make a. Basically, he's trying to just slam you. What is the rank on that? This is based on his strength.
I rolled twice, once for Seth and
Oh.
once for Edge.
Oh.
Oh, crap.
So 15 is the number you need to beat because he rolled max.
Hmm.
I'm seeing 2 majors against, or massive, whatever it is, against me.
All right. So,
I don't think I was being there.
all right. So, both Seth and Reg get slammed. Transmuter gets slammed. And then Helios and Puppet both got 8s. So yeah, you all get slammed. It's massive for all of you. Which a massive slam. I need to get a physical copy of a GM screen or something for this. There we are, slamming. Okay, there's no difference between a major or massive success on a slam. Sends the target flying out to the next range, typically from close to extended. If there's an obstacle along the way, the attacker's damage is greater than the obstacle's material strength. The target is knocked through it. So all of you get swept up in the wind and basically thrown out to sea.
I don't like that.
Not very far out. I mean, like 15 or 20 feet out into the ocean. It's nothing drastic. It's not even far enough that you like hit the wave breaker transmuter had built.
Did we take damage from that?
No, this was just a slam. Just a slam attempt. It was not trying to hit you with something. It was just trying to sweep you up in the wind and fling you.
But it will take us a page to get back to shore.
And if it hadn't gotten a massive success on all of you, I'd have had you scattered out a little bit. But y'all all kind of go the same distance.
Good teamwork, people.
Normally with a slam, you have to spend the next round getting up because it leaves you prone. But y'all all hit the water, so y'all are free to start swimming to shore. All right, so that is Ziz's turn. Then it is Helios.
Okay, who's gonna need assistance getting out of the water?
I mean, I think we can all swim.
Yeah, I've got 3 athletics. I'm sure I could sort myself out.
Alright. I'm just gonna fly out of the water if I'm able to.
You are.
Yeah. Will I be able to rush Ziz?
Sure, you're rocketing out of the water. I don't think there'd be a problem. And you're a range increment away now, so.
Alrighty.
So still close enough that you can move forward and sock him one. Or how would you describe your rush?
literally just cannonballing out of the water at top speed, both fists out, just Supermaning
The good old Superman slam.
preferably into its throat.
Okay, it's got a nice long neck. You got plenty of area to aim for. All right. And actions.
And I wouldn't really be able to add my boxing specialty, so it's just a straight attack.
No, Superman slams are not a boxing maneuver.
Tragically.
It is indeed tragic.
If you're a professional wrestler, however.
If you're a professional wrestler, it's probably allowed.
Yeah. But, Max. So. And that is my prowess against its prowess or coordination.
All right, and its coordination is actually higher, so it will roll its coordination.
Ooh, just missed it.
So yeah, it kind of snakes its head and thus its neck to one side, and you go flying past it. So yeah, you move behind it. It turns around to face you, so now its back is to everybody else. So at least you've got its attention while everybody else is getting out of the water.
And my flight does not burn out.
Oh.
Yay!
All right. After Helios, Seth.
I've had enough of this turkey vulture. I am going to use my fear on it.
Oh, that is interesting. That is interesting.
Which would be my power level versus its awareness. Be like, we're getting close to Thanksgiving, turkey. Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Might still work.
See, now I'm torn, because I was about to declare that it was tapping one of its qualities. But it doesn't really need to. But I decided that before he rolled. So in fairness, it's still going to tap its quality. So, Curtis, you have another determination point.
Yay!
It is going to tap must defeat its rivals. Meaning it has a compulsion to win. So that's going to give it a +2. And you said awareness or willpower?
Awareness.
Okay.
Oh god.
So yeah, he rolled max, so he's absolutely fine. And you don't see any sign that he noticed, but that may just be that he's focused on Helios.
Hey Reg, I don't think this is going to end up so good.
Mister.
Red just turns and, like, using his mouth, squirts water at you, or spits water at you. It's got an expression on his face like a cat that just got dunked in the water unexpectedly.
Oh. Mr. Bill doesn't appreciate that.
Have any of y'all watched the Sandman show on Netflix?
I haven't seen it all, but I have
Okay.
watched part of it.
Episode 11 is like just this extra little thing of vignette stories. And the first one is an animated one dealing with cats.
Oh yes.
Oh, why did they have to adapt that story?
I did let one of my cats watch that, so apologies in advance. We owned up Chew Toys. Right, Mr. Doobles?
Every time I start to binge it, I get stuck on something else.
Yeah, there's a fair number of changes from the comic, but the vibe and the feel of it was pretty good.
You'd be a benevolent master.
That's pretty
wouldn't you,
cool.
Mr. Nobles? I enjoyed it very much.
I did
kept
finish
thinking that Morpheus was played by Robert Pattinson.
Oh yeah. There was an uncanny resemblance.
Right?
Well, I think it's that he's got the makeup on to make him pale.
Yeah.
Not pale enough for Morpheus, but pretty pale.
Yeah, it did take a while to get used to him having like pupils, like human eyes.
Though sometimes you'd see him in shadow and stuff, and he's a lot more like the comic book.
Yeah, that's right.
But overall, I thought they did a really good job on it.
Yeah.
Though they should have dyed Desire's hair black. That wouldn't have been hard to do.
Don't hate me, but I have never read the Sandman comics.
No.
Oh, there goes all the Curse's geek cred.
Well, you have a potentially wonderful journey ahead of you if you ever decide to go down that path.
I've been very tempted. I just haven't done it yet.
Sure. There's no shortage of stuff to watch.
Yeah, I didn't read it back in the day. I bought the trades later. Though I did collect the Dreaming for the last few years of its run.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that was Helios and Seth. Puppet. How water resistant is Puppet?
I'm fairly solid at this point. I can still breathe. So I don't need to breathe, so I just kind of inhale a large amount of oxygen to stay afloat. I swim.
All right.
The fish might try and nibble on him.
You don't move as fast in the water as on land, but if you want to use your movement and your action, you can get back to shore. Because like I said, he only flung you, 20 feet or so.
Yeah, I do
Past
my
it.
best not to touch anything, because my aura is still going. But yeah, just swim. Any poor jellyfish tries to sting me, he's gonna die.
Ow, they're not supposed to sting back. All right, then we're back to the top of the order with Transmuter. Are you swimming to shore, Transmuter?
Yes, I am. And along the way, if I can walk and swim at the same time, I would say, did anyone else notice that thing react to my power usage?
Presumably,
like-
it knows what we come from. It's old.
Oh, you think it recognizes the power primeval?
I think if it's intelligent, it could recognize anything that's ever existed. It's old.
Gotcha.
If something is biblical and it's giant, I just assume it knows things.
How to eat little things.
No. I'm just picturing Ziz with a t-shirt. I'm old, I explode mountains, I create tidal waves, and I know things. All right.
By the way, in case you haven't noticed, I think I've temporarily shorted out my power, which has never happened before.
Don't worry, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah,
Gets
but not
everybody
while-
once.
Not while we're fighting the apocalypse.
It's
Not
possible
near
this
the
thing's
apocalypse.
presence
Calm down.
is. Possible this
Maybe-
thing's presence is causing some sort of
Maybe
energy.
it's fault.
Or maybe you just pushed yourself too hard.
Well,
I mean, to be fair, I burned out all of my powers once,
oh yeah, that's right.
and then I got all new ones.
Wow.
All right, so is Transmuter trying to make her way towards shore while she's talking?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so you
And
you get far enough that you just can get your feet just will touch the bottom at this point.
okay.
You're kind of just a little bit behind Puppet. And then it is Ziz's turn. Ziz kind of calls at you. sounded kind of like an angry crow. Like
As a
almost
group, you mean?
no at Helios.
Oh,
Almost like it may be offended that you've taken to the air.
Well, that sounds like its own problem.
And again, it rears up on its hind legs and leaps, spreading its wings. Basically, coming right at you, the beak whips out, and it tries to snap you up in its mouth again.
I'm gonna dodge it, or attempt to.
All right. This is a hand-to-hand attack, so prowess technically is evasion.
All right.
Oh, it didn't roll all that well. 7. All right. So yeah, it whips down and bites you. 9 points of damage.
I'll take 3.
Okay. So yeah, you definitely feel that as it clamps down on you. You know, kind of shakes you a time or two and kind of flicks you a little bit. You know, not a slam. You know, it didn't send you flying, but it's not trying to hold you in its beak. It just kind of bit and released to see you. You know, like almost like it's seeing what happens or it's testing you. Or maybe it just thought you were too hard to chew. So,
You don't want to swallow something that might actually, explode in your stomach. So.
Then it remembers, oh yeah, I'm a bird. I need hard things in my gizzard. Come here. And then it is Helios' turn.
Alright. I'm gonna close the distance and just lay into it.
Okay.
Oh, damn. That is not a good roll.
Alright, what is... Helios uses going full JoJo.
Just a rapid series of blows.
That's just rapidly punching.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen enough JoJo to have caught the reference. Other than JoJo, I knew it was from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Alright, so you're trying to punch him. That is prowess. He tries to dodge out of the way. Marginal success.
So that would be 3 damage, and I imagine his damage resistance negates that.
Did I remember to give him damage resistance, actually? Okay. He reacts like it hurt, so you know you did some damage to him. Something got through. Next up. Oh, is that your burnout roll?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that's what you want on a burnout roll. It's a 6, so you are still in the air.
Yeah.
Seth, were you an original? No, you tried to use your fear. That's what you did.
Yeah, right. So I guess I'm going to have to use my turn to get, pardon me, out of the water.
Now, last turn, you could still have started swimming toward shore. Puppet made it in 1 round because he just spent the entirety of his round just getting to shore.
Okay.
But you would have taken 1 move to shore, so this move will get you to shore. And you can still take an action.
All right. I'm going to try it again.
Okay.
It's like, all right, Birdie, you don't know who you're messing with. I am one scary mother. And come on, man, get the cursor on the die roll.
Oh, that's a pretty good roll. Oh, I was sitting there going, should I use another quality? Nah, we'll just see how the dice do.
I meant to use determination on that too, but I didn't need it.
Oh well, we both forgot to, so I guess it's all right. All right, so you beat him by 2. So that's a moderate success. And this is emotion control.
Yes. Fear.
And that basically puts a quality on him, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's different in Great Power than it is assembled, but I like the way it worked in the assembled because it gave qualities that we could use on attacks for him, rather than just having him try to run away.
Alright, so a moderate success. You have placed the emotional quality on the target. Concentrate and make a new emotional control versus awareness at the start of each of your pages to maintain it. So yes, you have put fear on Ziz.
So maybe making a giant bird afraid of a little person is not the smartest move, but there it is.
So that is a fear. That is something that y'all can tap. He doesn't say for sure, but I'm going to say that y'all can tap it for once for free. And then next round, Curtis can make the roll to see if he can maintain it. Puppet, your go.
Walking up on that bird.
It's in the air now.
Sign at that bird. Who's hurt and in range for me to heal?
What is the range on your healing?
I'm gonna have to deactivate my aura to heal someone. It's touch.
Does Transmuter or Seth have any damage on him?
I've got a little bit.
Mike, you may be muted. I see your mouth
Oh. 1 second, y'all.
moving. Okay.
I'm back.
Okay. Do you have any damage, Mike?
I'm 3 down, which isn't enough. I still have 8 stamina, so I'm not doing horrible right now. I'm just trying to figure out what to do now that I don't have powers. And I think I've got a little something to try out.
Alright, so both of the siblings you can touch, Puppet, have a little bit of damage on them. And Reginald's still got a couple of holes in him.
No idea.
Keep
if I
Seth
can
in the
heal
fight.
Reginald.
He's the one who sells his powers.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and heal Seth for 5 points.
Okay. Poor Transmuter. She thinks without her powers she's useless.
Well, not quite used. Not yet.
I
At
mean,
least one more.
were Marvin and Wendy useless to the Super Friends?
They're always the
Yes.
useless.
Wonder Mat was a completely different story, but Marvin and Wendy were.
Excuse me. Alright, so Puppet has healed Seth. Top the order is Transmuter.
The heel.
So I want to theorize off. Marcella still has in mind the reaction that she perceived from Ziz as she used her transmutation powers, and she'd like to maybe try to figure out if there's something to that, perhaps with a well-placed science skill test. Is that a thing that can happen, or is worth happening?
You know what? There is a roll you can make. It's specifically to try to figure out qualities, but I think it would probably apply.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to do here. Yes. But I don't. Would that be? Would I be doing that through a science check, or is there an entirely different check to do?
The one I am thinking about, because I was just reading it last night or the day before, which does not translate to me remembering where it's at in the book. So I think it was under actions. All right, it's called maneuvering because it covers a variety of stuff. But I say one of a number of different actions intended to learn or create a quality and activate it for an advantage. So this isn't exactly what we're trying to do, but mechanically, I think we're going to go with this.
Okay.
Your science roll will be fine. You know, as you're sitting there trying to analyze what you've seen it doing now, you're sitting there watching its reactions. So yeah, go ahead and give me intellect and science.
All right, here we go. There's another crappy 6 result.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have anything figured out specifically yet, but you're thinking about how it reacted to you, how it reacted when it bit into Reg. The fact that, you know, Reg is made of shadow but still has these gaping holes where the teeth poked him. So, you know, you're sitting there calculating, but you haven't come up with anything yet.
I'll keep calculating.
Wonder if
You know.
it's somehow linked to the power Primus.
That's my beginning hypothesis, but so far I can't quite make heads or tails about it. Perhaps another page of contemplation might help.
All right, then it is Ziz's turn. All right. It is going to zip past you, Helios. Basically, it very quickly zips past you, does a really tight turn, you know, damaging the ground underneath it the whole, or damaging buildings and stuff underneath it the whole way. And then just zips back at you full speed. That the neck is retracted again, and it's just coming at you like a bullet.
I will attempt to dodge it.
Okay. It is rushing you, so you can use your prowess or coordination.
I'll use my coordination. They're both the same, but
Don't forget
the flavor is important.
Spear.
Honestly, I think I'm going to save that for whenever I get hit.
Okay. Its attack is an 8. Was that 6 your dodge?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so it hit you with full force. Let's see, with a rush it does its strength +1.
Yes, sir.
So that is 10 points of damage.
I'm at 4 health.
So it streaks past more or less over the rest of you before it does another turnaround. But it won't actually move back towards Zach until its next turn. Then it is Helios' turn.
I'm going to close the distance, and I'm going to tap its afraid quality for accuracy.
Okay.
And that is so it's a +4 to hit it,
Okay.
and 14 is the number to beat.
All right. It's going to dodge with its... Are you doing a charge, or is this just flying from doing a regular attack?
Just flying in and just jab, jab, hook.
Okay. In that case, it will use its prowess, because that's what it has to use. And it doesn't have anything to help its prowess in combat, or in defense, rather. Alright, so it got a 9. So that is a massive success. How much damage do you do?
7 damage.
Okay. And a massive success on a superpowered punch is the possibility of a slam. So roll your the full damage that you did. So a 10 plus a d6
That's an 11.
versus his strength of 9 plus a d6.
1. Bam.
All right, so you got 11, he got a 13. So he takes the damage, but you don't send him like flying out into the ocean or anything. But you're now right up in his face. Everybody's closely packed together. Off in the distance, you see news helicopters.
We're making good TV.
They are keeping a fair distance.
They should probably still leave.
Oh, they absolutely should. But they're keeping, hundreds of meters away, One of them may be a half a mile away. Almost like maybe they've seen kind of how wide a path of destruction around this thing is. And even the closest one's at least double that space away. Now, if the bird turns in their direction and heads that way, they're in trouble. But
Right now, we're the more prescient.
mm. Actually, do I have any helicopter tokens?
Oh shoot.
Probably help if I was in the token category and not the handout category. Alright, nope, so we will not be putting markers up where they're at. Alright, so that was Helios. Seth!
Oh, I need to roll my burnout.
Oh, yes, you do. That'll change the whole arc of the
Dice
fight.
keep loving me. Dice keep liking me for that, at least.
Alright, Seth, it's your go.
Okay, I'm gonna renew my fear on what was his name?
Ziz.
Ziz.
Z-I-Z.
And I'm going to use a determination point. Gonna use I don't weld the power primeval or Primus, it welds me.
Is Seth deciding he doesn't like the fact that the word evil sounds like the word evil is in primeval, so he's like renaming it? No, it's the power of Primus.
Well, no, I mean if it's primeval, then that's what it'll go with. He doesn't mind being evil at all.
That's what
trying to change his image.
That is what the alien space pirate guy that used it called it. Alright, so there's a 13. He rolls his awareness. Ooh. So that is a massive success. So this round, you have 3 tappings of it for free. So it knows fear. Means it would burn at the touch of the man thing. Which reminds me, I've got to go watch that Werewolf by Night special just to see Man Thing.
Yes, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
Well, from what I hear, they've messed up Man Thing's personality. Because he has a personality. He doesn't think, he just reacts to the emotions around him.
But it's still fun.
Yeah. Oh, and the still shots and scenes I've seen. Oh, they got the look perfect. For Man Thing, I don't know about everybody else. All right, and Puppet.
All right. Is it still in the air?
Yes. It was on the ground, but then Helios drug it up into the air. Glory Hound.
Oh no, I just followed it up into the air.
No. You zipped by. It looked offended that you were in the air, and then it launched into the air.
Right.
Hey, Transmuter. Here's 5 points of health.
Thank you.
Have some life.
And then the top of the order with Transmuter.
Just for the record, I did take 1 point of leadership. The leadership specialty. That means I could theoretically grant 1 determination to a teammate if she is in fact recognized as the leader of the team, which I don't. We've never role played in an actual game session. The only thing I could think of is if like during training, she would have been inclined to kind of like take charge if people kind of like went with that. It's possible that she could be kind of a default, if nothing else, team leader. Although, really, kind of Sharon's really kind of like the active team leader, isn't she?
She's not really part of the field team, though. She
Yeah,
doesn't give you a lot of orders out in the field. I mean, even now, while the fight's going on, she's not talking to you. She's not distracting you.
Right, that's true.
So that really to be down between you and the
As
team.
a field commander, at least in some respect.
Yeah, I feel like I would need to start acting that out before I can take advantage of that. But I just wanted to let people know that that's a thing that's on the character. That's on the character sheet at least. But that might be something Marcelo needs to grow into. In the meantime, or right now, I'm still trying to figure out everything that's going on. If Ziz seemed to take offense to Helios taking to the air, it's almost like maybe it perceives Helios as trying to kind of invade its domain. If it is in fact the apocalypse beast of the air, if that's the running theory we're going with. And let's hope fire doesn't show up, by the way. What happens if Helios comes back to the ground? I'm kind of curious about what Ziz ends up doing. Does it still go after us, or does it just proceed along its way? I might want to try to contact the authorities and ask if they have. Is there any way to like have Sharon look up or inquire with the authorities if they? I'm kind of curious as to if there are in fact any kind of like biblically significant artifacts in Barcelona that might have drawn Ziz here, because we still haven't looked into what could have brought Ziz to here in the first place.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you can just get on that comm and ask Sharon to do that. She tells you she'll get on the horn with him. That does not take an action. That's just you talking.
Okay, that's fair.
So if you want to do it,
anything else?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, as far as like other actions are concerned, I might just hold my action in case I could assist with, Puppet or Seth, who I think are still. Are they still nearby me?
Yeah, y'all are still standing there in a group.
Okay.
Because Puppet's just been healing the two of you, and Seth has just been sitting there generating a sphere.
I got you. Yeah, I don't know if they're. Yeah, I might just hold my action until I can think of some way to assist. Like maybe either their actions, depending on what they do, need to do. But for now, I definitely want to try to investigate more into why Ziz is in the area.
Okay. So yeah, Sharon tells you she will get on that. Because there's that Spain's been around a while. There's some old stuff here. Spain reportedly, I forget exactly who's got it, who's in charge of it, but supposedly they've got a piece of the True Cross. Though there's a whole lot of pieces of the True Cross scattered around.
Enough for several
Some
crosses.
fake, maybe some real.
Well, I was listening to a YouTuber the other day that was talking about his trip to Spain. That, he literally watched the king ride by, and then the police showed up and got all pushy. And he was like, "What in the world?" The king just went by. Who's coming? That's got the police so much more on edge, and it was this piece of the cross on. They shouted at him about not filming it. And he's like, okay. He goes, because they've got basically assault rifles, and you don't argue with people with assault rifles. You just turn the camera off.
No.
But that's what it was that. All right. Transmutor. And you're basically braced to, push people out of the way, give any sort of assistance you can.
If I have any brilliant ideas to suggest to Seth or Puppet, I'll chime in.
All right. Helios. Ziz is going to try to grapple you.
Grapple. Let me.
He flies up to you, and with those front two legs, they lash out, and try to grab you. Well, really, it would be one of them because, the sheer size we're talking about.
Yeah.
It'd be like a bird toe over each shoulder,
We're not going to win this fight with Helios being the only one giving knocks to this turkey.
And where are the rules for grappling? Because I don't think we've actually done a whole lot of grappling in our recently.
I think it's actually called wrestling in this.
I think you're right, actually.
It's been a while. Everlast used to do a lot of grappling.
Yeah, some grappling has been done. It is not the most common.
Yeah.
It's like rushing. It's not something we've been using just regularly. Escaping, maneuvering, grabbing, defending, rushing, searching, throwing, wrestling. Alright, when you make a grab to restrain an opponent, roll a test of prowess against a difficulty of the greater of the target's prowess or coordination. So which is higher, Helios' prowess or coordination?
They're both the same.
Okay. So give me a d6 plus that.
Alright.
And Ziz will make his prowess roll.
I would actually like to tap one of the 3 free tappings of the fear quality.
Alright, you can tap that. Give yourself a determination point. As Ziz is tapping one of its qualities, Principality of the Air.
Not fond of that.
Ziz does not care. Alright.
Just beat me.
So that is an 11. That is a moderate success. So he has achieved a partial hold. The target. So you can still perform actions, but at a +2 difficulty. And you cannot move away from Ziz. And I always say that the exception to the +2 difficulty is if you're making the escape roll. You don't have a penalty to try to escape from the hold. Just a penalty to do anything else. But you could still attack him.
This won't be as effective.
Right. But yeah, he grabs you. Let's see. I don't think he can apply damage. No, he can apply strength damage once he's got a full hold. So yeah, you are partially held. And then it is your turn.
I'm going to try and break free.
All right, that is escaping. When you're being held by an opponent, you can attempt to escape the hold with a prowess or strength test against the attacker's strength. So your prowess or strength, whichever you want to use. And the difficulty will be based on what he rolls for his strength. So he got a 13.
And I did not get that.
Alright, so you are still being held. I don't think there's any penalties for bad failures. No, failure or marginal is just a no effect. You're still held. Okay. So the rest of you see Ziz grab Helios, and then Helios is struggling. But it's clear that it's holding Helios and has not, like, sank its claws into him or anything. It's just, reached out and snagged him. Seth.
I would love to renew my fear on it, but I think it's time for Reginald to take a punch at Ziz.
Okay.
Or a dive at Ziz.
Okay. Yep. Currently, Reginald's on the ground with you. He's capable of flight at the moment, but...
Right. Yeah, he'll just fly up and try and plow into him.
Okay. So just flying up and attacking, or is he doing a rush like Helios did that time?
Oh, yeah, he'll do a rush.
Because he is far enough away that he could generate a rush. Alright, so he makes a prowess.
Does that give me an extra bonus, or...?
If it hits, you do your strength plus 1 damage.
Okay.
If you miss, you just go zipping past him. And you use your prowess, and he can use his coordination or his prowess, whichever he prefers. Before you roll, or do you already roll? Never mind. So that is a marginal success.
Phooey.
So what is his strength?
Strength is only a 5 right now.
So that's a 5. It's a 6 with the rush. Marginal means half damage, so 3.
Not gonna make a difference on this thing. You probably didn't even feel it.
It squawks a little bit when he hits.
I'm just picturing that he's got massive damage resistance.
He does not have massive damage resistance, no. He's got a decent stamina. He's tough, but he's not. Let's see. That was Seth. Puppet.
I still don't know what I want. I guess I'll just reactivate my aura and get ready to fight.
Okay. Now, I want to say as part of a power stunt, you could put a enhancement or whatever on your powers. If you wanted to power stunt for like a ranged heal or something.
How badly hurt is Helios?
I'm down to 4 hit points out of 11. So I can take 1, maybe 2 more hits.
Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and power stunt.
All right.
So what ranged heal?
So what power are you, or what quality are you tapping?
I'm gonna tap a patient.
Okay, that sounds healery.
With it, I can feel the heat extending out slowly, but I'm just like, I can't tell if it's doing anything yet, but I know if I just keep stretching it, it will touch him.
Alright, so determination point spent, quality tapped. How much health do you give back to good old Helios?
4 points.
That'll do it.
With my 1 determination point I had available.
Yeah, that doubles what he had.
Yeah.
Yeah. It keeps him in the fight.
Like, I really don't think this fight is going to go much longer. Because
It is closing time theoretical.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't even noticed that. I didn't realize the fight had taken up quite this much time. Oopsie. But yeah, we are approaching the end, probably. Let's see, that was Puppet. So, top of the order with Transmuter.
If we haven't first of all, have we heard anything? No, it probably hasn't been enough time for Sharon to find out anything. Does that sound right?
No, it's been a few seconds.
Right, pages like that. Is there any? I'll ask Helios. Is there any way you could lure Ziz into the ocean? Is that possible? I mean, if it's a principality of the air, I wonder if it has weaknesses in any of the other major elements.
If I can get out of its grasp, then yeah, I can probably draw it over the ocean. At minimum, that'll keep it from doing any more property damage, because there's some beautiful old architecture down there.
Right. I'll ask Puppet and Seth. Can you all think of any way to try to lower Ziz towards the ocean? It might be weaker than an underwater element.
I mean, currently its only target is the guy in the air. So maybe if the guy in the air goes towards the ocean.
Well, it's got the guy in the air in its mouth, but
Clawed
Reg is
hand,
also
clawed hand.
in the air.
Yeah, maybe Reg can try to lure it
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
towards the ocean.
We'll see if I can at least get it over the water.
All right, but transmuter. So what are you planning? What are you doing?
Apart from that, I think at this point I'm just on offering. I think I'm just on backseat driving mode right now.
Now,
I feel like
I will let you use your leadership
okay.
since transmuter cooked up this plan. It looks like the rest of the team basically goes, "Hey, yeah," and starts chipping in on the plan. So for the remainder of this, as long as y'all are going along with this, get it in the water plan. I will let you use your leadership because everybody is taking their cues from you at the moment.
Okay. Who could make the most use out of a determination point? It seems
Probably
like
Helios.
Helios. Yeah, he's in the most precarious position. So maybe the suggestion maybe gives Helios a little extra determination to try to break free, or whatever else you deem appropriate. If I go ahead and give you, and this is the only time I can do this because I can only do one per rank.
I would gladly take that extra determination point.
Right on. Well, yeah, have at it then.
Okay.
All right, that brings me up to 3.
And then it is Ziz's turn. He is going to try to improve his grip, so another grapple check. So his prowess versus your prowess or coordination, whichever you prefer. He got a 10.
And I'm going to burn a determination point. Tap. No, I'm the bulletproof one. Summing up my just general toughness.
Now, I think there's also one more free tapping of fear. I think.
Is everyone okay with me burning that one?
Have at it.
You are actively the only one that can fight this thing.
All right.
All right, that is 14, which is a major success. So I believe it loses its grip on you. No, it just has no effect because it did not. Yeah, the partial hold is still in effect. It did not improve the hold. You know, if it had gotten another partial, it would have upgraded it to a full hold. So yeah, it's still kind of struggling, trying to get a better grip on you.
So I'm still held.
Yes, but that's its action for the round, and you're not any worse off than you were.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Then it is your turn, Helios.
All right, I'm gonna try and break free.
Okay.
13's the number to beat.
All right, and it gets to roll its strength. It got a 14.
Damn.
Let's see. Was it? Let's see. Yeah, because your strength is a 7, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Seth. What is Reginald doing?
Reginald is going to try to lure Ziz over the water.
Okay.
And low over the water. He's not going to be able to get the Ziz to dive into the water. But if Ziz is determined that it's the Lord of the Air and offended by all things flying, I'm hoping it will follow Reg.
Okay.
So it's going to be obnoxious, and Seth can do obnoxious. Hopefully it'll...
You are trying to emotionally manipulate the bird, or agitate it. So that will be a willpower versus willpower. In this instance, of course, Reginald has no willpower, I don't believe.
No.
So just use Seth's, because Seth is directing, you're directly directing Reginald at this
Right.
point. So your willpower versus his willpower.
Booyah.
All right. You got a success. So, what does Reginald do to agitate this bird?
He's going to poop on it.
Another shadow stain.
So up around, kind of on its face.
Yeah, and make lots of noise and, flap around obnoxiously.
I'm just picturing Reginald zipping around its face, flapping around in front of its eyes, screaming cuckoo cuckoo, and then a big pile of shadow just right there on its nose. It jerks its head around as though what Reginald did was really, waste material and really stank. And then as Reginald races off for the ocean, the bird spins around and dragging Helios behind him.
Hopefully Reg didn't get Helios.
Try to find a good spot to put Helios. But, so yeah, zipping out low across the ocean, so he is skimming the surface, not moving at fast enough speeds at the moment to generate another wave. That takes his supersonic speeds.
Yeah, and it can certainly fly faster than Reg, right?
Yeah. So yeah, he's like right up behind, his beak is like right up behind Reg at this point. Puppet.
What's doable here today? I look at Seth. Are you able to fight it? If you get in close to it?
You'll,
Or are you just going to maintain the fear?
His hand will turn into a little shadow blade.
I'm going to go ahead and give you a little force field, buddy.
Okay.
Go ahead and have them sweet 5 points of D when it beaks you.
Alright, then it is Transmuter.
Okay. I'll start heading towards where it looks like Reg is leading. Leading Ziz. And I don't suppose there's like a boat around here I could comment. You said the docks around it, so.
Yeah, pretty much all the boats had been shipped away. They had just enough warning to kind of get everybody out.
Gotcha. I guess I think. I feel like I want to. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to head towards where Ziz looks like he's being led, and basically suggest that to the others to do the same, because.
Well, you're already standing on the beach, and Ziz is out over the water at this point.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
Hey, I need to duck out.
All right.
I do apologize.
No problem. Are you going to be back, or are you done for the day?
No, I am done for the day.
Alrighty. I'll have one of the guys make some rolls for you then.
I do apologize.
Oh, stuff happens, man. And we're running late anyway, so
Oh yeah, yeah,
we'll talk to you next time.
Have a good
yeah.
one.
Yeah, unless I think of anything brilliant, maybe we should just pass over to Ziz and see how he reacts.
All right, Ziz is trying to snap at Reginald. I don't know why I keep using Reginald's full name. So that is his prowess plus his beak talent. Minimum roll though, so Reg needs to avoid a 7. Alright, he does so. Then it is Helios. Alright, Mike, I'm going to let you roll for Helios.
Okay.
Let me
What am I
pull
rolling here?
Let me pull up Helios's stats. All right. All right. So he has got super speed, damage resistance, fire aura. Oh, but that's tiring. That's why he has not been using that. He has 1 determination point left. Alright, and he knew the plan was to try to get Ziz into the water. But he is currently held. But he can take actions at a -2. So what do you think Helios? What do you want Helios to do?
Is it possible for him to use his flight power to kind of try to drag Helios into the water? If Helios is intent on hanging on to Ziz is intent on hanging on to Helios, and Helios tries to fly into the water, does that automatically bring Ziz along, or does he kind of like trick Ziz into like following him? Is that a thing that's possible?
I would say so. You know, Ziz is flying around, and Helios just sort of grabs onto the ankle, grabs onto his ankle, and just kind of.
Yeah, and given that that risks Tim burning out too, it'll be kind of fun if I could like burn out 2 characters in 1 game session. That might be a record.
It'd be a record for us. I can guarantee you that. For icons in general, I don't know. A lot of people play this game, so.
That's true. Yeah, that'll be my best guess as to what.
All right, so it'd be a grapple check. We'll say it'd be a grapple check. So that means you use Helios's prowess. Let's see. He's got boxing and technology, so his prowess is a 4. He is at you know what? We'll let you use his flight of 5 at a +1 for his strength.
So that's instead of the prowess, or in addition.
Yeah, instead of the prowess. On second thought, use his strength plus his flight, as he's just kind of pulling with everything, because he's not really trying to keep a grip on him, but just pulling with everything he's got.
Yeah,
since he's skimming along the water, he hasn't got to pull him down much.
Right.
So his strength is a 7, +1 for also using his flight, so he's rolling on a +8.
Okay. Here we go.
So I guess this is more of a strength contest than an actual wrestling thing.
Good. 13 total.
And then Ziz, pull up him. We'll use his coordination. He got a success. So while he's not traveling at supersonic speeds, he is probably traveling. Because you gave Reg how much flight, Curtis?
2.
Okay, that's not fast helicopter.
No, that's not fast helicopter. Not even as fast as a car, to be honest.
Mhm.
It's as fast as a horse or a dolphin, though. But given that the bird was catching up with him, we'll say the bird is probably going at least car fast. And then suddenly gets yanked down, and it's the size of a decent sized plane, and suddenly it gets yanked down and plows into the water. So from the shore, you suddenly see you see the bird zip along. It snaps its beak, but Reg managed to whip to one side, and then all of a sudden it just sort of dips down. One wing and shoulder kind of hits the water and plows in, and it just sort of flips. It kind of flips over on its back, starts struggling in the water, and sinks below the surface.
Okay.
Roll a burnout for Helios. So 1d6, you don't want a 1, you don't want a 2.
Take a 5.
Alright. Would have been funny if you rolled a 1. I'm just going to throw that out there.
It would have.
So Helios lifts up out of the water. You see him over there wringing his cape out. Ziz, as it turns out, does not swim so well.
Ah.
Good guess, Mike.
So it sinks to the bottom. Now, it's not far enough from shore that the water is super deep, but it is deeper than this thing can stand. After a while, the struggling stops and it goes dormant. It seems to just lay there. Though not sprawled out, it pulls its legs up and its wings kind of fold around it. And then it's just kind of laying there at the bottom.
Not like it's dead, more like it's dormant.
Yeah.
That's a distinct
like
possibility.
Yeah, almost like he's cocooning himself with his wings.
The beak's ducked out in there. Little bald head, half bald head's just poking out.
Aww.
But just to wrap this up quickly. So yes, you're right. That is what happened. It went dormant. While it was fighting, you could tell it was breathing. So it breathes. Sharon finds out later from some spear guys that because they go in and start researching it. It seems to be drawing in ambient energy from around it, which seems to be enough to keep it alive down there, but not enough for it to stay active. Which, frankly, they're thrilled with. Because it's, Behemoth, it's been easy enough to keep him kind of contained. A lot of taxpayer money getting spent on keeping Leviathan out of everybody's way.
Racking up lots of frequent flyer miles.
Spain isn't super happy that this thing's right off its shore, but and while there was probably maybe even a couple of $1 million of damage. A lot of that is just replacing windows. The sonic boom shattered a lot of windows, and there's some wind damage.
It could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a whole lot worse. They had enough prep that anybody that was still in the area was indoors. So they do not trace any loss of life, at least in Barcelona. Some of the other places, may be different. So the Spanish government officially thanks you. Nobody says anything about you slipping into the country illegally or anything, or in some sort of stealth craft.
We did better than Spear.
They're an American organization. This isn't America.
Spear didn't let Behemoth do a whole lot of damage. But he was in the middle of the desert. Come to think of it, I don't think Leviathan wrecked a few buildings on the shore. But So yeah, international news. This is big time. You know, the primes had made the news anyway to some degree. But up till now, the rest of the world was really just looking at you as, oh, it's another American super team. You know, people that like superheroes, hey, that's neat. You know, especially with so many of the heroes off world currently, it's nice to know there's a team running around. But this is kind of big because those news helicopters caught a whole lot of the fight. Now, the bulk of the credit goes to Helios in the press because he was the one in the air visibly fighting it the most. As far as the fight, as far as like preventing the tidal wave from doing any damage, there's a whole lot of talk about Transmuter and the sheer level of power she displayed. They don't ignore the rest of you. I mean, but a lot of the talking points is, you know, Helios in the fight because that was so exciting, and then Transmuter and just how impressive her display of power was.
Seth and Puppet probably do not have camera charisma anyway. I'm just gonna say.
I'm sure the goth kids like you fine.
Yeah, right. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't, like, I don't know if that ever. I'd be curious to see if there's ever any kind of like grudge. I mean, if that ever inspires any kind of grudge feelings or whatever. I mean, it can't be easy if only half the group's always getting the most positive attention all the time.
Well, if this was a comic, Transmuter and Helios would also be like competing for leadership. You know, sibling rivalry style.
Yeah,
but
I mean, just to say that, yeah.
Oh yeah, and that could happen in the, you know, that depends on how y'all want to run with it. But
next issue.
So Sharon, extremely proud of you. And as far as Spain knows, it doesn't have anything that would have been attracting an Apocalypse Beast. But Florida didn't know it had, or Miami didn't know it had anything either. So, though Sharon notices something, and probably her and Transmuter going over some stuff later. Probably piece out the line it was on. If you kept cutting across, it would have cut across the U.S. Through Kansas, which I believe is where we said y'all's secret base was.
Somewhere in the Midwest, but yeah,
interesting.
Kansas sounds good.
It'd be appropriate for our secret base to be, you know, just outside Smallville.
Yeah.
I think I specified it was not Smallville. But
Villa Small.
Tiny town. Puncavalia.
Lilliput. But the Oxford Commando. Your parents very proud, very proud. The Oxford Commando. He starts off. It's a very good job, very good engineering. You know, good use of your power to stop the tidal wave. Disaster prevention was never his specialty. He's combat, but it's very important, you know. He's less impressed on you just sitting around in your duff after that, though.
Nah. I was bored.
What? What? Were you playing a little girl and you letting your big brothers beat stuff up for you? You know. But he comes back a couple days later, having talked to Sharon apparently, and she had if you didn't tell him, she informs him that, you know, you were kind of the one that came up with the plan to take it down. So he does come back later and go, you know, good job stepping into the leadership role. Do you explain to him about your power burning out?
You know what? No, I don't think
Okay.
that she would be willing to admit that kind of weakness.
Okay, especially to him.
Yeah.
Though she had no problem telling her brothers.
Correct.
But yeah, he does come back later. Okay, good job. You stepped in the leadership role. That's good. But he expects you to see you take a more active role in the combat next time.
It's never satisfied.
But yes, you are now definitely internationally famous. Bootleg merchandise is on sale.
What?
Sharon's reaction to that is kind of like, yeah, Dad had or Granddad had to deal with that all the time. So,
About that.
or not deal with that. He would complain about it all the time. But he never did anything. So,
Halloween costume, primal hero.
Well, he never technically wrote his name.
Oh, wow! We've all seen what trouble that can get you in.
Because he was not, he was not interested in generating, in making money doing this. He did it out of sense of duty. He could help people, so he should help people. But anyway, we'll wrap here. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully this is starting to cash in a little more on the cinematic style I was wanting to go for with the
Yeah, very
primes.
much so. It's good stuff.
Sorry for the pooping, but I was trying to think of.
It's a
trying to think
Seth
of
sort of
something
thing.
Primal. Do what?
I said, but that's a Seth sort of thing. You design that character to be a little on the cruder side. He's trying to be better, but yeah, he ain't gonna be perfect.
He's a man.
It needed to be. It needed to be primal that would get the Ziz's attention.
But yes. So anybody watching or they came by, comes by later to watch or listen. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you'll join us in 2 weeks. Again, I was your GM for the day, Jason, and with me was Zach playing Helios, who had to step away. Mike playing Transmuter.
Right.
Curtis playing Sethagua,
Later.
whichever way it goes. And Taylor playing Puppet.
See you.
And we will see y'all next time.